Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about the magical full Beaver moon in Taurus that occurs in this month of November 2022. In this video you will be learning about this full moon's crystal, astrological and spirit animal meanings, the appropriate activities and rituals you can take part in, the astrological influences that will be coming in at this time, and most importantly what all of the above means for you. There is also a total lunar eclipse occurring during this full moon, which is quite unusual, so make sure you watch to the end of this video because I will be describing what this is, what this means, and how you can use it to maximize your manifesting power at this time, which believe me, you do not want to miss. So the first thing to go over is what full moons mean in general, so that we can establish that before going into what this full moon of November 2022 specifically means. So I'm just going to play you a clip from a previous video of mine where I go over what full moons mean in general. You may already know what full moons mean in general, or you may have seen this clip of me before, and if that is the case, feel free to skip ahead. There'll be a timestamp and chapters in the video so you can skip to the specific meaning of this full moon. The full moon is associated with harvest, celebration, and gratitude. This is because the full moon occurs at the end of the lunar cycle when everything kind of culminates in its fullness before it starts to wane again, so you can see how those things go together. Any full moon will also always amplify emotional sensitivity, which can bring up intense feelings that may seem more overwhelming than usual, and it can also amplify your intuition, enabling you to see beyond the surface of things. This is why the moon card in traditional tarot decks also carries the divinatory meaning of dreams, intuition, the subconscious mind, emotions, and all the things that lay beneath the surface. I also always think of the full moon as like a culmination or a climax, so if there's anything that has been building up for you, anything that's been kind of simmering in the back of your mind and you haven't had an emotional outburst about it yet, the full moon is probably when everything's going to come to a head and it's all going to come out in a crazy way. So just make sure that that doesn't happen. Take care of yourself in the run up to the full moon. As for the astrological signs, the full moon will also always have much more of an impact on Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces, the water signs, as the full moon does of course control the tides of this planet. So if you are a water sign during any full moon period, you really need to take the time to take care of yourself and honor your sensitivities because you will be feeling it. As for crystals to work with during the full moon, these tend to be moonstone, so named after the moon, selenite, named after the goddess of the moon, and clear quartz and amethyst, which is associated with the third eye, dream, subconscious intuition, all the other stuff that I talked about earlier. So that is what full moons generally mean overall, but what does this full Beaver moon mean, and why is it called the Beaver moon? The name the Beaver moon originates from Native American tribes naming this moon after the beaver, because this would be the time of year when beavers would actively gather stores for the upcoming winter. They would start building their dams and being very, very busy, hence the phrase busy as a beaver. There was also a period during the fur trade in North America where people would set traps for beavers at this time of year so that they could then catch them and use their fur to keep warm for the upcoming colder winter months. There are some other names for this full moon, such as the digging or scratching moon, which is in reference to the way that animals start really foraging for food at this time of year so that they can get all their food stocks up for winter, which I suppose is kind of what people do at this time of year as well. And it is also known as the frost moon as well, because obviously it starts to get a little bit frostier in November. So what are the things that we can reflect on symbolically during this time in light of this? Well, the famous phrase associated with the beaver is when you say that you're as busy as a beaver, and this is acknowledging how busy beavers can be, how hard they work, and especially in the run up to winter during this time of year. And oddly enough, I actually think that this general sense of busyness and preparing things to keep warm, preparing food stores, making your home as cozy as possible, that the beavers do is something that is also reflected in human behaviour, especially as we come to the run up to Yule, the winter solstice, or Christmas, when we all start to kind of panic a little bit and think, oh, I need to get presents for people, you know, what should I get? And we start sort of foraging, if you will, for gifts for people. We start thinking of planning festive gatherings and activities to do, generally just thinking of ways to keep warm, keep cheerful as the winter months approach, and this can lead to some of us becoming very busy as we try to get our work done and also try to prepare for the festive season. So this would be a very good time to work with the beaver spirit animal, thinking about their immense work ethic despite how cute and cuddly and fluffy they are. So that's some of the symbolic meanings that can be derived from this full moon, but also you can think about the zodiac sign of Taurus that the full moon is in and everything that that sign symbolically represents as well. So as the full moon is in Taurus, it's worth explaining again how we know what sign of the zodiac the full moon is in. And the way we do that is if I get up my zodiac wheel again, zodiac wheel time, I do this every full moon video. You take the sign that the sun is in, you trace up along a cross, and whatever zodiac sign is directly opposite, a mirror image of the sign that the sun is in, is the sign that the full moon will be in. So that's how we know that this month's full moon is in Taurus. So what does it mean that the full moon is in Taurus? Well, it really does line up with the energy of the beaver spirit animal, I think, because Taurus is really all about the pleasures of life, the creature comforts, and cultivating this sense of stability and security in the earthly world. And this definitely plays a role in the mentality we have as we prepare for winter as well. When we start really getting into autumn and looking forward to winter, the comfort-seeking behaviours that we have often shoot up, because it's colder, it's darker, and so we want to be more with family and friends. We want to have more snuggly, cozy, fluffy things to warm us up, eat a lot of food to keep our body heat up when it's cold outside. So this really provides the perfect avenue for this comfort-seeking, loving Taurus zodiac sign to come in and just provide that lovely energy of comfort and of this sense of security and stability that you can cultivate, even though there are dark, cold months ahead. Now, of the 3 earth element zodiac signs, Taurus is the fixed one. So the fixed sign of any element is the one that is the most, for lack of a better word, fixed. They're stable, they can be a bit stubborn, but they're very reliable. They have a lot of perseverance, they're patient and dedicated. You can really rely on them. And you can also rely on the fact that once they've made their mind up about something, they're quite unlikely to then change their mind about that thing, but they are highly dependable and reliable people. A fixed sign will occur during the middle of a specific season, and this is the sign that helps to basically sustain that season. It's not the push to get it started, it's not as the season, winds down, it's in the stable middle, it's like midday. So Taurus occurs right slap bang in the middle of spring, and the Taurus energy can be extremely helpful for us at this time during this full moon because there is a total lunar eclipse happening. This can bring more chaotic energy to the table, and so I think it's really good that we will have this Taurus energy that the full moon will be in to help to keep us grounded and earthed while maybe some of the other chaotic influences are flying around of the eclipse. So whilst the moon is in the sign of Taurus, that means that any individuals who have Taurus anywhere in their chart will be most especially affected by the energies of this full moon. So if you would like to learn more about the sign of Taurus, then you can watch my full video all about the sign of Taurus, as that can help to give you even more insight as to the kinds of energies that we're working with here. So what does it mean that there is going to be a total lunar eclipse during this full moon? Well, a lunar eclipse is when the Earth moves between the Sun and the Moon, which means the Earth ends up casting a visible shadow upon the surface of the Moon. This will be visible in the early hours of Tuesday the 8th of November, and this phenomena of a total lunar eclipse occurs once every 6 months, and this can give us a handy 6-month time frame for any manifestation intentions that we set during this lunar eclipse. So whilst full moons are often powerful times where emotions are amplified, powerful psychic insights can be revealed, making them a great time to do rituals and other kinds of moon magic, eclipses are generally viewed to be a bit of an exception when it comes to a lot of people because the energies become a bit compromised and thus a bit more unpredictable and chaotic. So instead of trying to harness the energy of this full moon in a ritual, it might be better to just prepare yourself to embrace the choppy waters of change and throw yourself into whatever the universe sends your way. A lot of people view change and chaotic energies as something that strikes fear into their heart because they think, oh, something bad could happen. But my suggestion for this full moon and total lunar eclipse is to think, what if something good could happen? Something crazy and chaotic that you never expected could happen to you, but in a good way. And I think this is an energy that we can utilize during our manifestation intentions that we will be setting during this full moon. So yes, this total lunar eclipse in conjunction with the full moon in Taurus does give a sort of element of chaotic change, and especially if you are another fixed sign, so you don't even have to be a Taurus or have Taurus in your chart to be affected by this. You can also be a Leo, Aquarius or Scorpio, the other fixed signs of the zodiac, and be equally as affected by this. Those who are these signs or have these signs in their chart should definitely be preparing themselves for unexpected change and just really trying to ground themselves at this time so that you can weather whatever storms may come, for better or for worse. And it's definitely worth remembering that on the other side of uncertainty and fear can be even greater security and stability, as you discover maybe that you are capable of things that you didn't know you were capable of before. And so it's definitely worth looking to this period of the year with optimism rather than fear. So with all of this in mind, the appropriate rituals to do around this full moon could be the same kinds of things that we typically suggest for every full moon, as long as perhaps I would suggest not on the day of the total lunar eclipse, the 8th of November, but rather maybe on the 7th of November, the 9th, 10th of November, when the moon is still full but it's not the total lunar eclipse. You could then try to harness the energy of the full moon in Taurus, as by that point the chaotic energy of the lunar eclipse won't be there yet or will have sort of passed. So at that point I could suggest doing the kinds of things that we normally do during a full moon, such as leaving out moon water, charging crystals outside in the moonlight, or charging tarot decks outside in the moonlight, allowing the light of the moon to come down and cleanse and purify your spiritual tools and objects. As with any full moon, it's also worth remembering that this is of course the end of a cycle, and it's really time for you to celebrate all that you have achieved during this past month since the last full moon. So if you're interested in what kinds of rituals or activities you could do during the time of the lunar eclipse as well, one thing that I would suggest is maybe to get in some yoga, breath work, or meditations, as these can be great tools for keeping ourselves steady. And this is pretty much invaluable when an eclipse is coming, and this can often bring about huge emotional shifts, bringing things to the surface, forcing us to let go of things. I think it's really important for us to remember these grounding practices because they can really help to keep us centered in our body when there's otherwise quite a lot of cosmic chaos flying around. So the second thing you could do is incorporate some stress relieving and grounding crystals into your practices and into your daily life. These will help you align even further with the lunar energy, as Taurus is an earth sign and crystals are obviously from the earth, so they carry the energy of the earth element as well. Grounding crystals like tourmaline, tiger's eye and red jasper could also be very helpful and beneficial for you to use, as they can help you connect to the grounding stability of the sign of Taurus, as these crystals have a stabilizing and reassuring effect, which would be great for us during the lunar eclipse. So the third activity or ritual you can do is you can use the fact that we are in the fixed sign of Taurus to renew your motivation to continue pursuing a project that maybe you started but then later abandoned because maybe you found that you didn't have the drive, the dedication and persistence to actually follow it through. This can be a really good time to figure out what keeps you motivated in the middle of a pursuit or a project and really just go after that. Fixed signs are of course all about perseverance, endurance and patience throughout the journey of life, and nothing can stop them from doing what they set out to do. So this can be a great time to remind yourself of promises that you kept to yourself and how you can dig deep and find that inspiring Taurian strength within yourself to push forward and keep going. So another activity I will suggest here is a way that you can maximize your manifesting power during the total lunar eclipse specifically. The lunar eclipse is rather challenging, chaotic energy for some people. Really, it brings with it a lesson, and that lesson is about getting comfortable in surrendering to the universe and actually letting go, trusting that if you let go, the universe will catch you and you won't just fall. The unpredictable changes that eclipses can bring about make them the perfect teachers for us to get comfortable with embracing whatever life throws at us, teaching us resiliency and trust in ourselves and in our own abilities, no matter what may happen. And it is this energy of trust that can really help to bring about your manifestations faster, because if you trust that you will be alright, Either way, no matter what happens in your life, you will attract things that reaffirm that belief that you are okay no matter what, and more things that will help you feel safe, grounded, and secure. So this will actually be the perfect time in your life to manifest increased security, be it with regards to your career, with regards to your financial situation, or with regards to anything earthly in the material realm that you are dealing with that feels a bit unsteady and unpredictable. You can also work with this affirmation that I wrote, and this affirmation is: I can rely on the universe to provide me with strength, stability, and safety. As the days grow colder and darker, my heart grows warmer and allows for more and more light to enter into my soul. So I hope this video helped you all remember to stay calm, collected, and composed, settle into your creature comforts, and feel the grounding and stable energy of Taurus, and it will help to see you through the more unpredictable energies of the eclipse. But if we embrace the coming eclipse with trust and hopeful optimism, it is more likely that it will help us to manifest unexpectedly beautiful changes into our life. So make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel, because there will be lots more videos coming that, believe me, you will not want to miss. If you have any suggestions of things you would like me to make a dedicated video on next, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you have nothing else to comment, then simply comment frog. Just comment frog, because that is going to be our secret keyword for entering the super elite club of people who actually watch to the end of my videos. So if you have nothing else to say, just comment frog, because it will really help me out in the algorithm. I appreciate all of you who watched the end of this video so much more than you know, and I hope you have the most magical and wondrous full moon time.